Matt Jalbert.
I'm Andrew Kaminsky.
I'm Ariel Gubner.
Ryan Anella.
Ryan O'Day.
I'm Michaela Stevens.
Okay, so when thinking about this project and discussing ways in which we could use the $25 million to advance F&M, our group came up with an idea that would really take us to a new level. We want to implement a graduate business program. Such a program would make F&M stand out among our very similar surrounding schools, such as Dickinson and Gettysburg. As they stand now, the three sound very similar. F&M is a four-year co-ed private liberal arts college, about 2,200 students and 175 full-time faculty members. The acceptance rate is 35.9 and our endowment is $318 million. Gettysburg, a four-year private liberal arts college, 27,100 students, 180 full-time faculty, and a 40% acceptance rate, $207 million endowment. Dickinson, also private, four-year liberal arts college, 2,400 students, 180 full-time faculty, 43% acceptance rate, and $300 million endowment. Compared on paper, these schools look very similar, but we want F&M to stand out in a new, bold way. Our idea is to use the $25 million to create a graduate business program, and it would be the first of its kind among these schools. Seeing as it would be the first to make such a move, it would launch F&M into the news both at a collegiate and national level, and would really make us stand out among our very similar competitors. A few general aspects about our proposed graduate program: it would be 2 years, focusing mainly on areas of management, marketing, and business, and it's open to all undergrads, not just business majors. And it's open to F&M students as well as students from wherever, other colleges around. This would be the first graduate program at F&M and among F&M's closest competitors, and so it would make us stand out in a big, new, bold way.
Okay, well, like she said, all of the schools within our conference, everything around here, they're very similar, and a lot of the schools have that focus on individuality with these students. You know, a small teacher-to-student ratio within the classrooms, and we wanted to keep that ratio because that's something F&M really prides itself on, is giving that individuality to the students and having a lot of focus on them. So we would like to try and keep it at a 10-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio. We wouldn't, because it's a beginning program, we would start with not really that much more than 200 students in the entire program, and then eventually, as the program itself expands into maybe other subjects or gets more recognition, we could expand the numbers and accept more students. We would also have a 20 professor maximum, or minimum, because that would also keep the ratio in check and once again promote that individuality of the students.
For admissions, we're really trying to strive for our PR and marketing, which would create a sense of self-awareness regarding the program, and this would essentially be done to help expand the F&M program, abroad, as well as considering that we have many international students. We feel that this would, as well as for international students and students in the United States. Originally, we're trying to look for an applicant goal of around 1,000 plus students, creating a sense where the acceptance would be accepting between 300 and 400 graduates, where we would assume that roughly 150 to 200 students would be enrolled. And we were looking essentially for an acceptance rate for roughly 30% to kind of keep the, once again, selectivity as a main priority.
So the cost and expenses, so this entire project is going to cost, we have about $25 million in our starting funds. So we wanted to put the majority of that, $15 million, into a graduate-focused building, business center. So that would be about $15 million. We would have the 20 professors that we mentioned earlier. We would pay them about each an average salary of $80,000 for as a base, and then over a 2-year period, which is what we're trying to do for the business school for an initial 2 years, that would go out to about $3.2 million. The program would also need to be accredited by an institution. The Middle States Commission on Higher Education, they do accreditations in our area. So that would be about, over a 2-year initial period, would be about $20,000 for accreditation procedure and just basic legal issues and stuff over 2 years. And then we would have about $780,000 remaining, and we would set that aside for essential utilities and staff in the buildings that we are creating. And we would also create a $6 million graduate housing, very limited, but for the that would be close to the actual business center. That would be about $6 million. And then we would also encourage donations from alumni and business enthusiasts, and it would put we would put that into the buildings to make them more, I guess, to make them more unique and modern. And anything else we could just put into any unforeseen costs and problems that we might have over this program.
For the planning on building new housing for all the students. So it's going to have like conference and work areas in the new housing area. It's like single apartments. So figure anyone in graduate school probably doesn't want to have to live with a roommate if they don't want to. So we thought we'd give them that option. And then in the new building where the classrooms are going to be, we're going to have all the faculty offices, like study areas, the library, and all the classrooms as well.
Okay, so as you can see, here's our campus, and here's Franklin and Marshall Athletic Field. So we will build our new house here because our campus is currently so crowded to build a new house, and we want to create a new totally separate environment for graduate students. And in the future, if we want to build a new graduate program, we can also build a new house here to create a center environment for graduate students.
So it's basically going to follow a similar mission statement, except we added a few things. So I'll just read it. Franklin Marshall College is a residential college dedicated to excellence in undergraduate liberal education and providing students with the opportunity to excel in higher education through FNM's graduate business program. Its aims are to inspire young people of high promise and diverse backgrounds a genuine and enduring love for learning, to teach them to read, write, and think critically, to instill them in the capacity for both independent and collaborative action, and to educate them to explore and understand the natural, social, and cultural worlds in which they live. In so doing, the college seeks to foster in its students qualities of intellect, creativity, and character, that they may live fulfilling lives and contribute meaningfully to their occupation, their communities, and their world.
So are there any questions?
Do you think it's I really like the idea, but do you think it's reasonable to have a 30% acceptance rate when you adjust building programs? Because I feel like people are only applying to schools that they know of or that are more credible.
Well, yeah, that was one of the problems we ran into, but we were thinking, since we were doing a liberal arts, since it was sort of unique for a liberal arts school, we would have a pretty good amount of people applying, and then we could always change that 30% depending on the actual applicants. But as years go on and as we get more well-known, the acceptance rate would go down and applicants would hopefully go up as well. So.
And we allocated part of our money to a PR and marketing program, so I think a lot of our efforts are going to reaching out to similar liberal arts colleges, and so hopefully we will pull a lot of people from there who are really familiar with our type of school.
If you're looking for about 200 students, about what percentage of those students do you want to be from F&M undergraduate program or other college undergraduate programs?
We were going to give more incentives for the F&M undergraduates since they are coming from the undergraduate school. We were initially thinking of having maybe a tuition tuition, I guess like a lower tuition for actual F&M undergrads, but we wanted to keep it open initially for